Natalia. This is Crafting with Natalia, and today I have another Flosstube video. I believe this is number 19, but that may not be correct, but I think this is 19. And I'm filming it on a Sunday morning, so today is the 20th of November. I've checked that before, so I think this is correct. But you never know with me. I mix up my dates and everything. I mix up everything, really, so... Hello, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. You have to put up with my craziness and giggliness, and I hope you enjoy it here. If you're coming back, thank you so much for coming back, for being here with me again, and especially after my last video, which was very long, my Halloween video, and very silly. To those of you who actually managed to watch the whole thing and actually are still here or back here, I think you're as mad as me. But I'm so glad that you're here with me, and yes, that you enjoyed that Halloween video as well, because I was really unsure at the end of it. I didn't realize how long it was, because I've been recording my videos in chunks, and then pressing the pause button is just kind of easier later for editing, doing it that way. So I didn't realize the whole full length of it. So I'm sorry it was so long, but I had lots of fun recording it. And I don't promise, no, today's not going to be as long as that. I don't even have that much time. So I have to be, keep it a bit shorter today. But I do have quite a few things on my table to show you. So, grab a cup of coffee. My coffee is about, I can hear it, it's almost done. So I'm going to grab my coffee as well. For you, obviously, it's not going to be Sunday morning anymore. I don't know what time of day you're watching it, but for me, this is going to be my first morning coffee. So, yeah, so excuse me as well as I'm waking up with you. Yeah, gonna get my coffee and let's get started. Okay, so I've got my coffee here. I had a sip already and feeling better already. I don't really function without a coffee in the morning. I don't drink a lot of coffee throughout the day, or sometimes I do more, but sometimes I don't have any coffee throughout the day, but I do need my morning coffee. It's just something I got really used to and I really enjoy. Yeah, so it's been a while. It's been like, what, 3 weeks? Yes, it must be 3 weeks now since my last video. So of course lots has happened, and of course I've almost forgot what's happened. So I made some sort of notes, but I made them last night. Sorry, I can see things are falling down already. But so I made my notes last night because, well, actually my original plan was to film yesterday evening. Because, well, I went to hairdresser yesterday. I thought, oh, I'm gonna have nice hair, so I will look decent on the video. But I was doing a lot of things yesterday, and everything kind of took longer than I thought. By the time it got towards the evening, I was actually really tired. And then I started making the notes, what I was going to say. And I sat down here and I thought, okay, I'm going to record, but actually I felt so sleepy. And I thought, no, there's no point. And I was getting everything mixed up already in my head. I was like, no, I'm just gonna film tomorrow. So I'm filming today. So since I wrote my notes last night, since then I already decided they're in completely wrong order. So I'm not going to follow the order of my notes, but occasionally I would just have to check that I actually covered everything that I wanted to cover. And I'm still probably going to forget something because that's what I always do. Okay, but so what happened since last time? Well, one thing that happened is it's kind of because it's in chronological order in my head, is I came back to my crochet, which I know is not cross stitch, so it doesn't interest you, but maybe I will come back to this at the end of the video. But one thing is that I did spend a few days actually doing some crochet, which, well, the kind of crochet that I do is amigurumi, which means basically, what does it mean? I'm sure you've heard about it, but it just means that you're using crochet stitches to make like animals like this one, like this bat here. That's made using crochet, but technically it's not maybe real crochet. But then I was doing some shopping yesterday, and I was in one of these shops which have like always cheaper prices on things and some books, and I saw this book. a beginner's guide to crochet, which was only £6. And I was like, I was looking through it, and it's got lots of different patterns, and it takes you from like the very basic to like probably a few more complicated, and it looks really good. It's got lots of instructions in it, and it's got different things. So it starts with basics, like even just making like placemats, but then I know this is not whole. My videos don't follow any order. There's no order to what I say, but I know this is not cross stitch, so I will just be very, very quick. I don't know why I know why I started talking about this, because that's kind of what happened after my last video. Instead of doing cross stitch, I actually started doing crochet, and there was a reason for it. And yes, I should really talk about it at the end of the video. So maybe at the end of the video we can have a little crochet section, but I won't bore you with this right now because I realize people may not want to listen to crochet talk right now. So this is coming at the end of the video, as well as some haul that I got. One thing is I've got an announcement at the end as well, because this is also haul connected with announcements. I'm going to put it at the end of the video. And one thing that happened since last time as well is I went to Essex Needle Stitch and Chat Day in Stansted. So Teresa Little Stitcher and Ellie Welly Stitcher, I think that's her channel name. So they're both, Teresa and Elaine, they're both lovely people and fantastic Flosstubers. Teresa is actually one of the first ever people I ever watched on Flosstube. But they organize these retreats from Essex Needle Group. I think that's what it's called. There's a group on Facebook you can join to find out more about them. And so basically I was just kind of curious about hearing more about these retreats. And I heard that they occasionally do these Stitch and Chat days. So I signed up to the group, and they had one in November, on the 12th of November, so last Saturday they had one, and so I went to that because Stansted is very near me. I'm in London, so it literally is just an hour on the train, well, a bit longer because I have to get to the train station first, but anyway, it's about an hour and a half for me to get there, so really not that far. And it's just a day when you just meet other people. There was probably around 30 something people there. All people have beautiful projects, and I will try to insert, I took some pictures and some short videos of the brag table, so I will try and put that, either you've already seen it at the start of the video, or you will see it at the end of the video, or both. Who knows what I'll do, but I will try and include them here, although the lighting wasn't so great for video and picture taking, but hopefully, you know, you can still see some of the amazing things that were that people brought. There was lots of beautiful stitching there, lots of Mirabilia stitching, some Bella Filipina, and also, well, one lady had actual like hate finish, so that was really cool to see someone finish their hate as well. It was the one with the sea turtle. So I'll try, I think I have a picture of that as well, so I'll try and insert that as well. Okay, so that happened. So I went to Essex Needle retreat. Well, it's not a retreat, it's just the Stitch and Chat day. And basically, what else happened? What I was going to say, oh yes, that I have some more haul as well, because Megan from Coffee Craft Fabrics was there, and of course I couldn't help myself, even though I went there with a mindset of I'm not buying anything unless there's a fabric that I really can picture, you know, I'm definitely going to stitch one of the projects on my list on, and it's gorgeous, and so I may buy one fabric. Well, yeah, that didn't happen. So I bought 3 different fabrics. I'm going to show you as well towards the end what I bought. One thing I wanted to say as well, because at the end of my last video, I kind of forgot. I was going to say it sooner in the video, but to be honest, that's what happens with me. I completely forgot until I got to the end of the video that I was going to announce a small Halloween giveaway. And only at the end I remembered, and by that point probably most people have already clicked off. But a few of you stayed till the end, and so I did draw a giveaway winner. So my giveaway was, I don't have it with me now, but I'll insert the picture. Anyway, it's the picture on the cover. It's actually very small, so I'll insert one here. It's Teresa Cogut's Whimsy Witch, or I don't remember the title of the chart, but it's the cute little witch that she released not so long ago. I think it's this, you know, just a few months, maybe a couple months ago that she was released. I think so. I may be wrong. But anyway, so this chart, yes, so I've drawn it. I've drawn the winner for this chart. The winner for this chart is Penny Richardson. So Penny also was at the Essex Needle Stitch and Chat Day. We met in Stitch in London. And she's a lovely stitcher. She actually started a new Bella Filipina on a very difficult fabric. I know you're struggling a little bit with that fabric, Penny, in Stansted. But I hope you're getting on well with it now. So it's looking like the fabric is beautiful, and it's looking like it's going to be a beautiful project as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing your progress on it. So Penny is a lovely fellow stitcher, and yeah. So I'm going to basically what I was going to say is please email me. My email address is craftingwithnatalia@gmail.com, all one word, craftingwithnatalia. You can find it always in the description below, because any of you are also always welcome to email me with any questions or just saying hello, just telling me what you've been up to. I'm terrible at replying to emails, but I do read them all and I love them. Same with my comments. But I do try to reply to all my comments, it's just sometimes it takes me a bit longer. Yeah, so I think that's that from for now. We'll come back later to haul and other announcements. But for now, I don't want to bore you anymore because it's already been over 10 minutes. So yeah. So now, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about stitching, but I'm just wondering what are we going to start with? Okay, so let's try to go in order that people normally go in order. I'm sure that's not going to happen for very long. But normally you should probably start with new starts, yes? So I have a couple of new starts. Both are Joan Elliott new starts, and these are my first ever 2 projects that I'm stitching from Joan Elliott. I really like to be fair, I've not really ever seen live a finished Joan Elliott design. But I really love the pictures of them. They look really lovely. So I was very curious about stitching some of them. And one I'm trying to stitch now because it's like a Christmassy design. So this one. And this is the one that I've done more stitching on. So you can kind of see more of it. The other one I only just started. But so this one. And this is a cutout from a magazine that I got from eBay. So this is the Snow Angel by Joan Elliott, and I wanted to stitch something really with, the reason why I'm stitching this is, it's one is because I like it, 2 is because I have in mind that I need to have some seasonal, or just at least more seasonal projects that I can put behind me, so that, because right now I only really have autumn and a couple designs that are not really related to any season. But I'm really poor on display. I don't really have very many things to display. So I'd like to have something Christmassy as well that I can put behind me, and I thought this angel would be really nice. So that was kind of also what motivated me to start on it, and also because I found a lovely fabric that I thought would look really good on it. So yes, what was I gonna say? So yeah, so the fabric I'm stitching it on is actually from Stitchy Ferret that I got on the Floss Friends retreat, and it's this lovely sparkly light blue. I'm going to show you in a minute, and it's 28 count, and I'm stitching it 2/2. Yeah, and I think so there's no last time because I've only just started it, so I can just show you, right? I don't know what else to say, but here she is. So, oh yes, I need a board. Oh, always, every single time. Give me a second, guys. Better now. Okay, so we have our angel with it's not really a board, it's an old envelope, but hopefully you can see her. So I managed to finish her face now, and I also managed to stitch that little bird, and you can hopefully see a bit of her dress, and there's like this ribbony thing. So I don't know what to say, guys. I'm using this cute needle minder that I got on Stitch in London retreat from Cotton and Clay, I think they're called. And yes, the fabric, it's actually hard to see in this light, but it's very sparkly. I don't think, maybe it shows a little bit when I, but yeah, it's actually a very sparkly light blue fabric. Oh, there you, maybe you'll be able to see a little bit more of it. Yeah. I did change a little bit, so this back stitch, sorry, morning hoarseness, but this back stitch here on her hand and around her face was charted in like a very dark brown, and I didn't like it, so I actually used the same color as I'm using for back stitch in Mirabilia, so 356, which maybe also is not perfect, but I prefer it to the dark brown one. And I also added a nose with a lighter shade because that was a bit too dark, so maybe you won't be able to see as much, but I just felt she was a bit noseless, because on the original I actually drew with my pencil here, so so she has a nose on here, but on the original she doesn't actually have a nose, she just has like 2 lines here, so it looks really weird. So I've added like, I know that it's weird because she's straight, so she would have to be a bit turned to have a nose like this, but also it looks really weird without any nose. I think it looks slightly better with some sort of idea that there's a nose there. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. And then initially I was going to add cranic. I actually stitched some of this in like white cranic, but I realized that it was actually really hard to distinguish the cranic from the fabric, because the fabric is very light and sparkly, and when I put white cranic on it, actually it was really hard to see it. So then I put here, instead of using that white cranic, I just used white DMC, and that's more visible. So I don't know, I may add a little bit of cranic to her wings, but I'll keep more white in maybe like on the outline of the wings and then other places so that it can be distinguished from the fabric itself. Yeah, and so I want to keep stitching on her in the coming weeks. She's actually stitching up quite quickly. She's not a very big project, you know, it's not so many stitches in her, so I'm hoping to get quite far ahead with her. I'm not sure if I'll finish her for this Christmas, but definitely for the next Christmas. So my second Joan Elliott that I really wanted to start, mainly because I got this beautiful sparkly fabric in Stitch in London retreat from Megan Coffee Crafts, and I really wanted to use this fabric for something, and I thought this project should look really, really nice on this fabric. So this is Enchanted Aurora by Joan Elliott as well. Look at the colors in her, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So the fabric that I've got is this dark gray. Let me just organize myself. Dark gray, sparkly. I've got lots of sparkly fabrics now, which is very exciting. I love sparkly fabrics. So dark gray sparkly fabric, which is, this is also 28 count, I believe. Oh, it actually says on here. Yes, 28 count, even weave. Yeah, so the other one was also even weave. 28 count, even weave. What should I say? I don't have a lot on this one. Is this even the right way? Yeah, I think this is the right way around. You can see there's not much, but you can admire. Hopefully I have better lighting today, so I've got a bit of daylight. I'm hoping this will help to show the fabrics a bit better today, because this one is really beautiful fabric, really pretty. I think it's slightly darker in real life than it is on the camera. But hope you can see, you should be able to see the sparkle in it. Beautiful, beautiful sparkle. This needle minder, I can't remember. It's not from my usual shops. It's from a shop on Etsy, and I will insert the name of the shop here on the screen because and also put it in the description below because I can't remember what they're called. Yeah, she has an owl, so I thought an owl. I've got a few owl needle minders, so yeah, so I thought that would work. So yeah, so where am I? Where am I? I started as usual in the middle. I pretty much almost always start in the middle. So the middle is, I don't know where, here. I think here is the middle of the design. So I've literally just stitched a bit of that blue-green, and this, I've also stitched this purple leaf. but it's actually, no, this one. But it's actually really hard to see it right now because it's purple on grey. But it will be on surrounded by the greens. And also it's got gold backstitch around it as well. So I'm sure it will be more visible later on. For now it's probably very hard for you to see it. But it's there. So that's the leaf there. And that's just the green. So really there's not much to show you guys just yet. But just for completeness I thought and just because I wanted to show you this fabric again. Because it's so beautiful. Megan has beautiful fabrics. When she was there in Stansted last Saturday, I honestly wanted to buy half of them, or all of them really, but no, there are some maybe that I would never stitch on because I you know, I wouldn't know what to stitch on them, but most of them, yes, I would love to have them because they're just so beautiful. Yeah, I'm loving the colors and the sparkle on these opalescent ones, and they have really nice feel about them. So I would definitely recommend Megan. She doesn't have an Etsy shop or her own website right now, so she only sells through Facebook or also like through these events. Quite often I think she travels to these events and brings her fabrics there. But yeah, she lives I think near, not too far from London, so it's good to have her around here. But yeah, you can contact her through Facebook. She's got a Facebook group and she occasionally does these like fabric drops, which like drops fabrics every hour, and you can, you know, try and get one of them if you're quick enough. Which I'm never, I take a lot of time to think about what to buy, so I'm never gonna, but she also offers, I asked her, she also offers custom dyeing, so I may, you know, ask in the future as well because I really love what she does. Okay, so that's my Joan Elliott. And yes, I would like to try and continue working on this one as well, but that may be more, you know, again, just a few stitches, not a lot of progress, you know, for a while, I think, because I've got lots of other things I want to work. Okay, coffee time. So another thing I've made a little bit of progress on, that's actually getting really, really close to a finish now, is my seahorse. Well, it's not my seahorse, but it's actually called the Glorious Seahorse by Leslie Tier. And so I will insert the picture here what it should look like when it's finished. So yeah, I'm almost there guys. I didn't do a whole lot of stitching on it. I took it last Saturday with me, and I also, since then, I've done a few more stitches here and there. Yeah, but I don't work on it very regularly these days, so it didn't get as much stitching as it should really. But maybe for next time it will be finished, or we will see. I would like to do a giveaway with this design. Well, actually, I already bought a chart especially to give away to one of you guys, so that will be coming next time. I don't know whether hopefully my seahorse will be finished by then, but even if it's not finished, I'm going to do a giveaway in my next video, so that one of you can also get a chance to stitch him, because he's so fun to stitch. So this is where I was with him last time, when you saw it, and this is where he is today. Dum, 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 dum. Right, let me just move the crab a little bit. Okay, so he's also stitched on a sparkly fabric. I should rename myself as a sparkly fabric stitcher, because lately I want to stitch everything on sparkly fabrics. But so he is stitched on a 16 count Aida from what's her name? HandDyedbyRolanda in Canada. I also have a tag somewhere which says it. Yes, HandDyedbyRolanda. She's got some lovely fabrics. So yeah, so this one's Aida. You can't really see the sparkle so much on him now. Yeah, but there it is. There it is. Okay. Yes. So I finished all of the cross stitches within the actual seahorse. But I haven't done all the back stitch yet, so that's something that I want to do, maybe even today, who knows. But yes, I need to do all the back stitch around him. So so far he only has back stitch around his little wings or fins, whatever you call them, and he has a bit of back stitch here on his head, but I need to do all the rest. So that's a lot of back stitch, and this back stitch is done with Cranic. So one piece of warning, just in case if you would like to enter for this giveaway next time, he does have a lot of cranic in him. In his wings, I call them wings, I'm not sure what they're called, he has a lot of this light blue sparkly cranic. And he also has all of the backstitch is done in cranic. So just, I know some people are not fond of cranic, but I don't really have any issues with stitching with cranic. I personally actually quite enjoy it lately, especially, which I will come back to later in the video. But yes, so that's where he is. And I started, so he has these, I call them seaweeds. I'm not sure if that's what they are, or seagrass. He has a few bits of seagrass in 3 different colors around him. I'm actually changing the colors of that seaweed because it was charted as 2 purples, and one of the colors also was very similar to the fabric, so I made it slightly darker so it's more visible. So I made it kind of greenish turquoise, teal, I guess you can call it. And instead of doing 2 purples, I'm going to 1 more bluish and 1 purple, because I kind of wanted to have 3 different, more distinct colors rather than having 2 purples, which were quite close together. So I'm changing those, but I think that's literally the only change I'm making to this design. Everything else is as charted. It's a lovely design to stitch on because there's lots of block of colors. There's not a lot of confetti. The only difficulty is that there's a lot of like these, so the blocks are very small, and you have like 2 stitches, 3 stitches, 1 stitch, 2, 3, and so on. So there's lots of like these little steps in him rather than like even blocks. And that always trips me up, charts like that, where you have lots of little steps and uneven kind of blocks. I get them wrong a lot. Because you have to really pay attention to the chart, and it's easy to lose your place, especially if you're stitching from a paper chart. It's easy to lose your place, and then yeah, you have to frog. So yes, that's the only difficulty with him, but the colors are just so beautiful. I forgot actually earlier what I used to do. I haven't done in my past couple of videos, I think. Because this front camera is quite often problematic in focusing on things and showing them correctly. My back camera is much better, so I quite often used to insert like videos and pictures taken with my back camera, and I will try and do it the same here. I forgot, I think I also recorded a small video or took a picture of my snow angel, so hopefully I have inserted that as well and you have seen it. But here I will insert whatever I have, whether it's a picture or a video taken with my back camera as well, for you guys to see what the seahorse looks like from my back camera. The only issue right now is it's November, so lighting is far from perfect, even during the day. It's very gloomy and dark, so I have to a lot of time put my lights on, and if I turn them down there's not enough sunlight, so it becomes quite difficult to take nice pictures and videos of my stitching. But hopefully you can see enough of it. So one thing also that I'm still missing is around this seaweed there will be beads, so I'll have to bead it as well. But it's really quite close to being finished now, so if I push on with it, it will be done very, very soon. But of course I may get distracted with something else, knowing me. That happens a lot around here. But really the big update of today that I wanted to share with you is something that is surprising even to me. And I wasn't planning on it. But what happened, to be honest, I can't really remember very well what happened. After my last video, somehow, I don't know how, but I came back to my Mirabilia, which I said I wasn't going to come back to for a while. So I'm stitching on Fairy Flora, and I just realized I don't have the picture of me, so let me just grab it. So Fairy Flora is this lovely lady by Mirabilia. I keep getting this hoarse voice. I don't know, I don't normally talk that much in the morning, I guess. But this is her. And so last time I've shown her, that was on my Halloween video. I was still working on that skin, which was taking me forever. I will show you a picture here of what she looked like last time. And I was complaining to you that, you know, it's not one of my favorite projects to work on. and that skin was a real struggle. So I said I'm probably not going to pick her up for a while. But actually I did pick her up. I think maybe I just wanted to get this skin done and over with, just to forget about it. But as I was working on this skin, I was not enjoying myself, and I started stitching a few bits here and a few bits there. And I started also looking, so I had some of the beads put in just because I've never beaded anything before, and I was really curious. So when I first started her and I got part of her torso done, I also put a few beads on, and just to try what it's like. And now I started looking at them, and I wanted to add some of the beads that were missing because it was annoying me. There was these holes in her dress. But as I tried to do that, I realized the beads I already had were very uneven, like pointing in different directions. And also I realized I couldn't actually fit all the beads in. I can't say this. I couldn't fit all the beads in. This is really hard for me. I'm not a native English speaker. And you have all these like different lengths, like, you know, you have to say beads rather than beads. You know, it confuses my brain a lot. We don't have that in Polish, because I'm from Poland. It's much easier to pronounce things. I don't know, at least the vowels, maybe not the consonants, but the vowels are easy in Poland. But anyway, so I couldn't fit in the remaining beads. I didn't like how they were looking because they were all pointing in all sorts of directions. They were looking horrible. And I'm like, okay. And I was having a really hard time with the skin. I started questioning the fabric I was using. I was like, maybe, you know, because I picked a very simple fabric for her. It was the 32 count Murano in this kind of, I think it's slate blue, so it's kind of this blue-gray color, and I was really questioning whether I should be stitching at her at all. And then I thought maybe I should restart the whole thing on 28 count so that I can actually fit in the beads, pick up a different fabric, I don't know. But then I was like, but I've already put so many hours of stitching into her, you know, I've already put so many stitches. I'm like, really, am I going to like restart it now? And I was like really questioning everything. Well, what I did first of all is I took all the beads out, because yeah, I had a very frustrating morning with her. I think it was a Saturday morning, and I was all close to tears at that point. So I took all the beads out. And I actually started to think as well, because I had a conversation with Edyta, who's a Polish lady who's also a stitcher, and we've been having these stitchy chats. And she was saying to me, you know, if someone doesn't like the beads in Mirabilia, they don't even have to put them at all. You could just stitch the whole thing without the beads if you really, you know, don't like the beads. Or, you know, it can be flexible in how you stitch it. And I started thinking about it, like, do I really need all those beads to be there? Maybe I could like use cranic or something to replace some of the beads if I don't like how they're looking, or if I can't fit them all in. So I started looking through some cranics. I actually placed an order for some sparkly threads to have more colors of cranic and petite treasure braids. And I started kind of, that day, I put a lot of hours of stitching into her. I started stitching different bits around her. I started playing up with adding some cranic, replacing some of the beads and seeing if I can put them at an angle so that they fit a bit better, because on 32 count they're just a bit big, and I think you have to put them at an like diagonally so that they're not pointing like straight, but they're actually like this. And they did start fitting a little bit better. I started just having some fun with her, guys, and I've made a lot of progress on her, and she's looking pretty spectacular, I think. I think for my abilities, this is my first ever Mirabilia. You know, it's been a struggle in a lot of ways, but I'm just making her my own, and I'm starting to really enjoy her. I think so. I've spent a lot of time stitching on her this month, or this past 3 weeks, and you may be really surprised. So again, so this is what she looked like last time, right? Now this is her today. Okay, so look at this, guys. I've moved her to this Q-snap now because she's getting a bit big, and I want to be able to see a lot of her when I stitch on her, and also because I have some beads in her already. Here I've got beads. I don't think there's gonna, and also in some in her hair, so I'm going to probably also, oh, she's actually looking really good at this angle. My camera keeps playing up with the light, but yeah, but hopefully you can see the shading in her dress. Oh, now that's better. Shading in her dress. So there's some beads here, but there's much less than was originally charted. I've added also some pink sparkly petite treasure braid. Okay, so there's lots of changes I've made, a lot. I've added some backstitch around her here, which was not charted. I have changed a little bit of I think I've added a little bit of backstitch here around her hairline. Her eyebrow is a little bit thicker than what was charted. I've added jewelry, so she's got a necklace now, which is not charted, and a little bracelet as well, which is also not charted. And I've changed her earring from what was charted. So basically, initially I just used silver high luster cranic, so 001 HL cranic, and then I've added a couple of beads here. I think 2 beads in her earring, 1 bead in her bracelet as well. I actually originally stitched her tiara in that same silver cranic as well, and then only added the beads on top of her tiara. And then I've added some beads. Well, these were charted, but I have less. So I have kind of part of it is stitched with silver cranic here and here and here, and part of it is the beads, but it's not as many as were charted originally. Then I've changed her wand. I originally tried, so she's charted with these long beads. They're like transparent kind of long beads. And I've put a few of them in, and I hated how they looked. I think I'm not really a big bead person, at least not in this context. Like, I'm not enjoying how they're looking and how they're lining up. I was like, I just don't like it. And they were actually really hard to see because they're transparent, so they didn't stand out at all. So I was like, no, I'm not liking that. So I took these beads out as well. And I stitched her wand in silver cranic as well. And I added some blues. Why did I add blues? There's a reason for it. So I've also changed this. So this is charted in normal thread. I've switched this to cranic. Mostly because, okay, how do I explain this? So she's got these bits around her here and here that are like, kind of like, I don't really know what that is. I couldn't figure out what that is. It's kind of like water, but it's like, it's going up, and then around her there are these like little floating bits. And they like charted originally in like light blue and like a very light kind of shade of DMC, and there's that middle one is kind of more bluish. And I was trying to think, what is it? And I think it's like fairy dust, maybe. In my head it's like fairy dust. So I thought I'd make it sparkly as well, that fairy dust. So I used a bit of white cranic and a bit of this blue cranic. And I thought, oh, I'll put this blue cranic and this white cranic here as well. So this like fairy dust. And I thought that could be like coming down from her wand. So then I thought it would be really nice to have some blue in her wand to make it more interesting and to kind of connect it to this fairy dust coming down. So that's why I added some blue to her wand as well. I may be going a bit mad with all the changes I've been making, because also I'll be changing her wings, as you can see here already. This, so originally there's a lot of beads in her wings. I don't like that idea at all, and I don't think I'm going to be able to fit in all the beads, and I don't know, I don't really want the beads in her wings. So I'm doing like actually 2 strands of cranic, so really thick, kind of, it's like balls of cranic basically. So they're very sparkly, rainbowy balls as an outline of her wings. The inside of her wings is already charted with cranic, so I think together they will still be very, very sparkly, and I think together it will still look really, really good. Again, I will insert here, just in case if what I'm showing you is hard to see. I've taken like a short video yesterday with my camera, my back camera, for you to see what she looks like. Yes, I may be going a little bit crazy with all the changes. Maybe it's too much. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't like it and disagree with me, but the thing is, she's my Mirabilia, and I like her like this. And I'm honestly having so much fun with experimenting with different threads and beads and just making her my own. It feels like really fun thing to do, and I started loving her much more. I actually can't stop staring at her even now. She looks so beautiful, and in real life she looks so sparkly. Guys, she looks very sparkly. So it's been a pleasure now working on her, and I love the shading in her dress. So my plan is to continue working on her. I don't want to put her down for long. And I'd love to stitch more of her dress now and stitch some of part of that kind of, this is pretty much full coverage, the part here below with the flowers and yeah, the dark greens and whatnot. So there's a lot of stitching to go down here, but I'd like to do a bit more of her dress first before I go up to her wings and whatnot. I'm missing some fruits. I was going to stitch them, but then I got distracted with something else. So there's a fruit missing here. And I mean, I don't know what the purple things are. I think they're almost like grapes in a way, but maybe they're like purple flowers. I don't know. But these, I think they're peach. Oh, these vowels again. Peaches. Like these. I think these are actually fruits, like peaches. So I'm missing a peach here, and maybe another one here. I can't remember. Yeah. So she's missing stuff here in the middle, but I think for now I maybe go down a bit. And maybe I'll fill in the fruit later on as well. Okay, so that's the big update. Sorry about a lot of talking, but I wanted to to tell you all the drama I've had with her, and kind of like all the, a lot has happened since last time. I feel like lots and lots have happened. Yeah, so it's been a very Mirabilia heavy 3 weeks for me, I think. There's been lots of Mirabilia stitching and lots of thinking about Mirabilia over that time. So it's been exciting kind of for me to get a bit more work done on her, and then, to see her come to life. She's my first fancy lady. So wanted to let you guys know about that. So now I just have a couple small stitchy updates, and then I'll show you my haul, and we're almost there. Okay, so last time, or maybe not last time, maybe the time before that, I don't remember, but I've shown you the 2 squirrels that I've started recently. I didn't actually get a lot of progress on them. So one squirrel is the squirrel from the Owl Forest Embroidery, which is the recent release. And so this is what she should look like when she is finished. Or he, I don't know. And so I can try and find if I have a picture of what she looked like last time. And that's her. And so I don't have a whole lot of more stitching done, but I can show you what I've done. So I've managed to add some more stitching to her bottom here. But really, I've not, so I took her a couple times to work, but I struggled to get any stitching done during my breaks. So there's not a lot of progress, really yet. So she stitched on, so this is a fabric from, I think this is also Megan Coffee Crafts fabric. This is 36 count linen. I don't know, it still doesn't show right, but it's this green, it's like light green kind of fabric. It's a very subtle green, but it's darker in real life than what is showing on the camera. But yeah, so it is a 36 count linen, and I told you the story last time how I tried to stitch her 1/2 and I didn't like it, so I added one more strand on top. So I'm stitching her 1.5/2. So the bottom leg of my cross is 1 strand, and the top leg of my cross is 2 strands. So yes, a bit experimental there, but that's what she looks like. And she is not stitched in the charted colors because, well, I can, obviously it's impossible right now to get the threads from the Owl Forest Embroidery. So and they do have a conversion to DMC. But I didn't, well, I think what happened is I actually had this variegated DMC thread that I liked as the color of the actual squirrel. I can't speak. Sorry guys, I need more coffee. I need a sip of coffee, but in a minute. So yes. So what was I gonna say? So this is actually variegated DMC thread, and I think I may have picked some different colors to what they suggested. So I just picked some DMCs from my stash. So I have another variegated DMC that I'm going to use for some parts of the chart, like her leg, I think, and wherever is it? I think it's in her tail and somewhere else. I think I've changed the green, and I'm not sure if this brown was what was charted or I picked a different one as well. So it's kind of my version of it in terms of colors. And this needle minder I got from Edita at the Floss Friends retreat. I really love it. It's really cute. I think she got it from Ukraine originally. Yeah, so that's one squirrel. And now I need the coffee because I can't speak anymore. So the other squirrel is Gathering Acorns by the Cottage Garden Samplings. This one. This one I had barely any start on it last time. It was literally like a splodge on, it was hard to see on the fabric. I'm stitching it on the 40 count. I think this is the recommended fabric actually. No, actually it's not. But it's 40 count vintage Mocha by Zweigart. And so there's no point showing. I literally had a few stitches in last time when I showed you, and I don't really have that many more again this time, but I'll show you what I have. So this is part of her leg. Hopefully you can see. So this is her foot here, one foot, and that's the other foot, and this is like her leg. So yes, I managed to fill in some of that leg here. Yeah, again, for comparison, I can show you this. This is, yeah, so that you can orient yourself. So almost all colors here, well, they are all called for colors. I didn't change, I think I didn't change any of them. Yeah, I shouldn't have, I don't think so. Something makes me think like I may have changed one, but honestly I don't know, and I didn't write it down, so maybe I didn't change it. Maybe I thought about changing it. I'm not sure. The only thing is that, so it is actually all charted for DMC, except for one color. That inside of the actual squirrel, the brown, is meant to be maple syrup from Gentle Art. But they also give you alternate DMC, which is 08 DMC. And because I didn't have the Gentle Arts, I just went along with the DMC that I had in my stash that recommended 08. And the only thing with that is a bit darker than what is actually on the cover. And so it blends a little bit with these darker brown. But you can still see the difference. They're not so far apart in terms of the shade of brown. But yeah, but that's what I've got so far on this one. And yes, so what I wanted to say about this one is that one of the ladies that was in Stansted at the Essex needle group, Carrie, who is an amazing stitcher, those inserts that I will put somewhere in this video would show you lots of Mirabilias or the Nora Corbettes. Pretty much all of them or most of them are from Carrie. Amazing stitcher. She was stitching on another beautiful Mirabilia when she was there. So Carrie watched one of my recent videos, clearly the one where I started the squirrel, and she said I've enabled her and she wants to start the squirrel. And And then Megan from Coffee Crafts Fabrics, she says she also has this squirrel in her stash, so they wanted to start it together as a stitch along. And they said, well, I think Megan said, I don't have time now, can we do it in January? And then a couple other peoples wanted to join, a couple other people, one of them actually being Penny as well, Penny who won my giveaway today, wanted to join in as well. And because since I don't think I'm gonna get a whole lot of progress in December on this squirrel, because there's other things I want to stitch on my both squirrels actually, because I have 2 squirrels, I will also be joining in on their stitch along in January as well, which is called, there will be a hashtag for it. And I wrote it down because I never get these things right when I'm on the video. January Squirrel SAL. I'm going to put it here for you to see. If you would like to join us stitching on this lovely squirrel, or for that matter, I think you can join in with any squirrel if you have a different squirrel chart and you'd like to join, I'm sure that would be okay too. So yes, January Squirrel SAL, we will be stitching squirrels in January, so please join us. It'll be great to have you there as well. Yes, so that's one stitch along announcement. I have another stitch along announcement that I was going to make last video and I forgot. And also my last video was too long already, so thank God I forgot. But so when I was on my 2 retreats, so when I was in Redford for Floss Friends, I'm losing my tongue, Floss Friends UK retreat, Edita, so who I mentioned before, the Polish lady, she brought to the brag table, she brought a finished hoity-toity. I've never come across hoity-toity, but apparently it's a very well-known design, but clearly I missed out on it for a long time. So hoity-toity is a design from Long Dog Samplers, and I never found a Long Dog sampler that I thought I would stitch. And then I came to the retreat and I saw the brag table and I was speechless when I saw this. I will try and insert here, I recorded like a short video of most of it, you can see, I think it's a bit cut because I can fit it all in my frame correctly, but hopefully you can see the beautiful finish from Edita, which she stitched in the, I think it was in the recommended DMCs. So when I saw that, I was like, I have to stitch this, I have to stitch this. And then Justine, who is sitting next to me and who's also one of my subscribers, hello Justine, she also saw this and she also said she has to stitch it. So we said we're going to do a stitch along between the 2 of us. Though apparently Edita wants to also stitch it again. So there may be 3 of us. And again, if any of you wants to join us, what we decided to do, and also why Edita wants to stitch it again, is because well, I didn't know about this, but the ladies at our table in Stitch in London have informed me that there is a lovely thread dyeing person in, I think she's Spanish but lives in Germany, but she's got a shop called Mrs. Sedas, and again I will put it in the description below. But she dyes silks and she's got a set of hand-dyed silks especially picked for this design. And apparently Edita has already bought it because she stitched previously in DMCs and now she wants to stitch it in these silks and compare them. Or, you know, just because she enjoyed stitching on it so much. Yeah, see, I'm not the only mad person around here. And Justine seemed like, oh, you know, we should stitch it in these silks. So I did order myself a set of silks. So first of all, I got myself the chart. Let me show you. So this is the hoity-toity chart. I got a paper chart. The reason being, as much as you can, you know, it's harder to stitch from paper charts, but I really enjoy stitching from paper charts. So if I have an option, unless it's a hate, unless it's some mad design, I think I prefer to stitch from paper charts. So I got myself a paper chart for this one. And I got myself the set of silks. So let me show you. So here, I've put them in this bag so that I have them all in one place. Okay. So hopefully you can see. So obviously there's black. There's lots of black in this design. There are these lovely browns. So we have, what is it? 4 different browns, I think. Yeah. I'll try and maybe hold it against I've got some white fabric in here. Well, it's off-white. I think it's antique white, this fabric that I got as well. It's 36 count even weave. Okay, so these browns, and then there's some lighter brown as well. Another one here. Okay, and then we have these lovely grays. Okay, there's some very light, kind of almost white color as well, very similar to the fabric actually. And then we have some brighter colors. So we have a green here, another green here, and another kind of yellowy green. So many lovely colors in this one. So this is now kind of like a rainbow. I love this. And the red at the end. So I dropped the green here in the middle. But yes, the rainbowy kind of colors. Beautiful, beautiful colors. So I think all of these colors will look absolutely gorgeous. I've never stitched with silks before, so this is a new challenge to me. If you have any advice about stitching with silks, what makes them different to cotton threads, please let me know, because I'm new. I also got myself this thread conditioner from Mrs. Sedas, same with this order. And I got myself a little needle box as well, or a notion box. Yeah, I've got some needles in here. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this. So this will be, me and Justine, we will be starting this as a new year, new start. Okay, so I would really like to try and start it on the 1st of January. However, I didn't know that, but it appears I'm going to Vienna on the 31st of December in the morning. So I'll be in Vienna for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, but I may take this with me. I don't know yet. I need to first figure out how to, you know, maybe pre-cut some, sort my threads in a way that I can travel with them, so that I can start it when I'm there. If not, then I will start it as soon as I'm back, which is, well, I'm flying back on the 3rd of January, so I'm just in Vienna for a couple days really. Yes, just my husband's flying there as well from Albania, so we're going to meet in Vienna. And yes, next weekend we're doing the same, we're meeting in Rome. So how exciting! Yes, we're visiting all capitals of Europe, it seems. It should be really, really good. But yes, so this is, yes, so I'm inviting you all to join us. Please stitch hoity-toity with us. There is a hashtag already on Instagram that seems hasn't been used in a while, which is called hoity-toity SAL. So again, I'll put it on the screen. So I think we're just going to use that hashtag, you know, because why not? There's already some posts on there with hoity-toity and people stitching hoity-toity, and we can join in, and now, you know, we can reuse this hashtag, I think, for this purpose. Why not? Yeah. So that's this announcement. So that's I think my stitch alongs announcements are over, and I'm just going to show you my haul, and that's it. We're done. Yay! Hi guys! This is me a few hours later. Basically, after I recorded the full video, well, all the parts of it, well, I went to teach a violin lesson because on Sundays I usually have a violin lesson. I have one student. And so I went for the violin lesson, and then I realized I was meant to show you one more thing. So I'm just going to show you quickly, and I'm going to insert this into the video. Basically, when I was at the Essex Needles Stitch and Chat Day, they had a de-stash table, and on that table there was lots of beautiful things. But one thing that I found, which I thought was really precious and nobody else seemed to want it, so I was like, okay, I want it then. There was one thing that was actually free as well, and it was a full kit from Lanarte, with this beautiful pattern. And I just thought, as a violin player, I've never stitched anything with violin, because I've never found a chart that I really loved, but I think this is a really pretty chart. Again, it comes as a full kit, so it's got all the threads inside. It comes with also with the fabric, which I think, it looks like it's an even weave. I'm not sure what count that is. Maybe it may be 28, I'm not sure. But yeah, so it comes with this even weave, which is like an off-white even weave. Let me just open it up. Ooh. I haven't opened it yet, guys. But so here, you see all those threads. There's also some metallic threads as well. Ooh, very dark. Yeah. So there's also like this gold metallic thread, which looks very fine. I'm wondering if that may be for the bow, possibly. So I thought, well, I should really stitch this one day. And I thought, you know, maybe one day if I have like a bigger place to live, and I would have like a little corner where I put my music stand and I keep my violin and my music, you know, like a musical kind of corner. It would be really, really lovely to have on my wall, this stitched up in a little frame. So yeah, so I'm very happy to have found that. I've never seen this kit before, so I thought I'll show it to you guys as well, in case if you haven't seen it as well. It looks quite old. I'm not sure if it's got a date on it when it was published, but yeah, it's definitely quite, you know, it's seen a few years. So I'm not sure actually where this kit came from, like who put it on the table. It didn't have a name on it, so I just wanted to say thank you, in case if that person is watching this video. I wanted to say thank you because it's got a new home now, and I'm very, very happy to have found it. So thank you for passing it on. Yes, and that's it. So now I'll send you back to the main video. Bye bye. So the only haul that I have left to show you is just my fabric haul. And so from the Stitchy Day last week. And then I forgot, I'm going to show you my crochet as well, because I said I was going to leave it for the end, in case if people don't want to see it. So I got myself 3 fabrics. It's a funny story. Well, one thing that happened at the retreat, I got very, very enabled by the 2 ladies who were stitching the Feather Fairy at my stitchy table. And oh my goodness, what a beautiful design that is, by Mirabilia as well, the Feather Fairy. I have been eyeing her already. She's been one of the designs that, I have a list of Mirabilias that I would like to stitch, and she's quite high up on the list. I really love the Feather Fairy. And now that I've seen her live, she is so beautiful that I will definitely need to stitch her, for sure. And I saw this beautiful sparkly fabric, this one. Now again, I may need something to back it up. So let me just do this. Now again, my camera is not going to give it justice, but you can see the sparkle, hopefully. It looks white probably on my camera, unfortunately. It's not, but you can see the mottling, don't you? It is a very subtle fabric, but it's not white. It's like a beige, light beige fabric. Very sparkly, light beige. That's the problem with the fabrics. It's really difficult always to show what they look like in real life. But hopefully you can see a bit. So you have to believe me maybe that it's light beige. But I think it will look really, really beautiful for the Feather Fairy. Then another fabric that I bought, I thought I was going to, well, because I've been looking at some mermaids, and I'm not really a mermaid person, but there's a couple of mermaid designs which I thought are really beautiful and I really like to stitch. One of them is Mermaid Perfume from Mirabilia. There's also a couple, especially I don't know what's her name, is it Aquamarina from Bella Filipina? She's really beautiful as well. So I thought maybe, well, I saw this beautiful sea fabric and I thought it would be lovely for a mermaid. So I bought it because, well, I love, you know how much I love sea colors, right? I have a thing for sea colors. And look at this fabric. It is absolutely spectacular. In real life, it's probably a bit more greenish or bluish, sea greenish, than it is on the camera. This is one of the most beautiful fabrics I've ever seen, and the camera doesn't give it any justice because it's got really bright color, which is much more dull on the camera here, but in reality it's got this beautiful sea green color. But actually, then I was thinking, I don't know if the mermaid perfume, her tail, the edges of her tail may blend with this fabric, so maybe I would need to change them. And then I realized the other mermaid that I really like is actually really big, so there wouldn't be a lot of margins left. So I don't know if I'm going to stitch a mermaid on it or something else on it. I have to still decide what I'm going to do with this fabric. But it is truly one of the most beautiful fabrics I've ever seen. So it will be whatever is going to be stitched on her, it will be something really special. Because it's a really special fabric. This is again from Megan Coffee Crafts, and just, this is spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. Okay. The third fabric I had absolutely no reason to buy. Other than it was just really beautiful. and I wouldn't buy it if it was something like a weird color. Because again, I like to buy fabrics that I know I'm going to have a project to stitch on them. Except sometimes I change my mind and decide they don't work for the project I wanted to stitch on them. But I think some colors, you know, you're going to find a project that will look good on them. And this, I think there's a million things you could stitch on this fabric. Honestly, this is a very subtle fabric that will work with multiple projects. Oh, I don't think my camera's gonna show it well enough, but this is pink, purple, sparkly. They're all 32 count even weave, by the way, because that is my favorite type of fabric. 32 count even weave is my go-to. It is like a very light pink and purple, slightly bluish in places. The mottling is slightly bluish sometimes. Very, very subtle, very beautiful fabric. Yeah, I think someone said it makes them think of unicorns. It is the kind of unicorn fabric. I think there's so many things that will look good on it, honestly, guys. So yeah, so I bought it as well, because why not buy it? You know, it's just so different when you see things in real life. Buying fabrics online is really difficult, I find, because you never know what they're actually going to look like. Especially that quite often, you know, they will only be dyed after you've ordered them, so you don't really know what they're going to be like at all. And also because I see cameras really don't give the fabrics justice. No, this is, you can maybe see a little bit more when it's folded like this. Let me see if I fold this one. Oh yeah, maybe that's a bit brighter now, isn't it? Yeah. And then let me try with that first one again. Maybe that will help. Yeah, that's maybe more closer, the color, to what it is, the Feather Fairy fabric. So yes, these are my 3 beautiful, beautiful fabrics that I bought. I love those fabrics so much. Megan she does a beautiful job. Beautiful job. Oh yeah, these are actually showing much more true to color when they're folded. So that's a lesson for future. Fold your fabrics when you show them. Yeah, so that's my fabric haul. And finally, we are at the last point of this video, and I'm gonna let you guys go, or you can click off now if you don't want to hear about, but you should really stay for this, because I'm gonna show you. Do you remember a while ago I started making a crab, a big blue crab, a big weird blue crab, and then I had a break with it. I didn't finish it for a while. He is finished. He is finished. But what really, so I'm going to show him in just a few minutes. These are fun things, so you should really stay to see them. But really, if you want to go, that's fine. Bye-bye. It was lovely having you here. But if you're staying, One thing what motivated me to come back to my crochet amigurumi was that I saw an announcement on Facebook that there is a project called Worry Monster Project. Basically, I think it's somewhere in Hull. There is like organization. Hi guys, just a very quick insert, because as I'm sitting and editing this video, I realized that I should have done more research and should have given you a bit more detail there. So it's evening now. So it's taken me all day to get to this point that I'm almost finished editing this video. I'm quite tired listening to myself now. But I just wanted to say that the organization I mentioned is called Ruben's Voice, and I will put a link to the Facebook group in the description below, just because I think this is important. So the organization actually is really Ruben's mom. So very sadly, Ruben was an 18-year-old boy who took his own life. And basically, his mom decided to raise a campaign to raise mental health awareness and to help prevent suicide in children and teenagers especially. So I think it's very important, and of course it's important for all age groups, but I think the earlier we start to kind of teach children about mental health awareness, you know, the better, the more we can protect them for future. So I think it's a wonderful campaign that she's doing, and how wonderful and how brave and, you know, strong of her to be doing that. So I will put the link in the description below so that you can also visit that Facebook group, just in case if you're interested in finding out more about what she does, what they do. I'm not sure if it's a group, you know, there may be more people involved, but yes, so that you can learn more about what they do, and in case if you'd like to participate in any of their events. Okay, thank you. There's an event in December where children just before Christmas will be given a worry monster. So basically, crafters from around the UK are welcome to make a worry monster. It can be stitched, it can be made of anything really. So what's a worry monster? It's a monster, big or small, doesn't matter, that has either a pocket or a mouth that you can open, so that the child, whoever gets it, when they feel worried about something, they could write it down on a piece of paper, and they can give it to the worry monster, who will take it away from them, eat it, or put it in his pocket, and the worry is gone. And as someone who struggles with anxiety, me, I am a big worrier. I have more worries than I can handle per day. I really like the idea of having a worry monster, and I think I'm going to make one for myself as well. But I made one straight away. I saw this announcement, I looked through what yarn I have, and I had this all these chunky yarn that I bought for my All Things Sea Craft along earlier this summer, and I thought, okay, I'm going to use some of that and I'm going to make a worry monster. And I made one. Give me a second, guys. So, hello. So, this is my worry monster. Yay. Isn't he cute? Isn't he cute? Isn't he cute? And I'm going to test him out, you know, I'm going to test him out with you guys. Oh, give me a sec. So here's one worry that I just wrote that for example, that I was thinking, what would I be worried about now? I mean, there's already like 10 different worries that I have right now. That's what life of anxiety looks like, guys, honestly. It's not fun. But so one worry that I have is I'm worried that people will think my videos are stupid. Okay, and so let's get rid of that worry now. So my worry monster has a big mouth, and I can put that inside. Nom 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 nom. It's gone. No more worries. So if you have anxiety, you may want to make yourself, or I don't know, get yourself a worry monster. I think it's a fantastic idea. I love it. And I'm very happy to send this. So basically I will put it in a box. I haven't sent it yet because I may make another one if I have time. So this time, the event is on the 21st of December and it's in the UK, so it won't take a long time to post it. So so I'll see if I have 1 or 2 monsters at the start of December, and then I'll make a little parcel and send it. And so I'm very happy to send it, and one kid will have him. I hope he likes, or she likes him. I think he's really cute. I got the pattern for this monster from Etsy. I will put the shop name in the description below and on the screen as well, so you can find that shop in case if you would like to get that pattern and make one of them as well. They are really fun. He was really fun to make. Really fun to make. I love him. Okay. And my second crochet creation is I finished him. The blue crab, right. Oh, he's heavy, he's big, he's really big. And he's really funny. Oh, he's hilarious. So this is my crab doorstop. So he actually sits by my door now. Sits by the door, guards the door, and smiles at me every time. Well, he just looks at me with his googly eyes, and I smile back at him every time I see him because he is hilarious. Now, with him, he's a bit less perfect. I think I'm very happy with my worry monster, how he turned out. I think he's actually really good. With this guy, he's got some kind of big holes, like some stuffing coming out at the bottom a little bit. And I really struggled with attaching these claws, probably because he's so big, because I stitched him in chunky yarn with a big hook. He ended up being very big. And so actually these were really hard to attach so that they weren't drooping down. And I really struggle with attaching the legs as well. So he is maybe not quite so perfect. I think he's super cute, isn't he? So yeah, so that is him, really. Yeah. Dum-da-da-dum. I've got my crab, Mr. McCrabby, whatever you want to call him, friend, stitchy friend, and yes, he's still going to be sitting by my door. Okay, and that's it, I think, for today. I don't think I have anything else to show you. Look, the sun is coming out. It was raining earlier. It was very dark and grey and gloomy. But the sun is coming out. And I need to get on with my day. I will edit this video later in the afternoon. Hopefully it will be on YouTube by tomorrow. So Monday. So yeah, have a lovely week, everyone. Next weekend I'm in Rome, so I definitely won't be filming anything. I may film something the weekend after, but we will see. We will see when my next video will be, and I don't have any plans because my plans, they don't work. So I'm not making any plans anymore. I'm just gonna craft and stitch on whatever I feel like at the time, and I hope to see you in my next video. Have a lovely week, everyone. Bye bye. And of course I forgot something. So I said in the beginning I was going to flip through this book a little bit with you, just in case if you're interested in learning how to crochet. I can give you some more details of what's in this book. I mean, I haven't used it yet, so I will have to test it out and see how good the instructions are. But basically goes all the way through basics of what you need, the different types of yarn, the different types of like how you should, or something I should actually read because I never do this properly. How you should like prepare your yarn so that it doesn't get all tangled up as mine does. The different types of hooks and different types of stitches and yeah, so basically it takes you through a lot of the basics. So I'm definitely going to have a read and hopefully I can learn something, because I would like to try different types of crochet as well, just for practice and just also learn to be better at it, because right now I really do it just my way and kind of wing it for most part. But so yeah, so they take you through basics from like even just like simple placemats, then they show you how you can make squares. So can I show you? Is there a picture? Yeah, so like let's say like a blanket kind of from squares. So yes, different kind of blankets. They show you how you can crochet in rounds, which is something you do a lot in amigurumi. I can even make these lovely flowers. I saw another book which I want to get as well later on. You can make like all sorts of different flowers from crochet, and I thought that's really nice for like small gifts to someone. You can give them like a crochet flower as well. There's a scarf, which is like a wavy kind of scarf like this. Yeah, and there's all sorts of things. There's like a daisy flower in here. You can make that kind of pillow with a flower in the middle. What else? So yeah, I'd like to experiment and try different things, definitely. Oh, you can make these like balls. I didn't see that. Fluffy balls. That sounds exciting. You can make a hat as well. Amazing. Okay, and yeah, there's even like how you can make a jumper. So I don't think I'm ever gonna make a jumper, but if you really wanted to, there's a jumper pattern here as well, and instructions for how you can make a jumper. You can make a beaded headband, just kind of like this. Okay, beaded headband. Oh, hexagons. That's something I would like to try. This looks interesting. So you can make these like hexagon blanket. Yeah. So lots of interesting things you can make out of crochet. I think I'm getting better at understanding. Needs to have some more tea or something. But I think I'm getting better at understanding crochet patterns now. I struggle less with them than when I used to. Definitely. Ooh, Bubbles bag. How cool is that? Really pretty. Really pretty. Yeah, so this book looks really good. Honestly, I'm quite excited, and I will let you know how it turns out in the end. You know, my experience with it, if it's, you know, a good book to follow. That's a pretty scarf. It would be a pretty gift for someone, wouldn't it? Yeah, and yeah, there's some more blankets, and yeah, so basically you get the idea. There's a lot of patterns in this book. So, you know, for £6, you know, normally probably I would have to pay a few pounds for each pattern, so that's a pretty good deal. Oh yeah, that looks quite pretty. Like a decoration with flowers hanging off. Very interesting. Yes, I think it's a good value for money, and may give me ideas and motivation to try some new things. They also show you how you can make stuffed toys. They give you a pattern for these teddy bears as well, in case if you'd like to get, you know, try some simple amigurumi type of stitching. And this heart pillow as well. Yeah, so I think that's the oh yeah, there's even gloves at the end. And finally there's some triangles as well, triangle blanket. But yeah, so that's I think pretty much it in this book. There may be something else at the end, but you get the idea. More flowers. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to trying some of this, reading this, and yeah, I will let you know how it goes. But anyway, so I realized I said I was going to flip through this book and I never did at the end, so I will insert it maybe right at the end, I'm not sure. So sorry guys, I told you I forget things, right? I always do. And those of you who have been on my channel before, you're probably used to it by now. So anyway, once again, I wish you a very, very good week, and I hope you will still come back for more videos from me. Yeah, have a lovely day, a lovely night, wherever you are in the world, and see you next time. Bye! you.